Regionally, the Caribbean Media Corporation CMC reports that 8 former heads of Caribbean countries are urging the Trump administration in the United States to rescind what they described as an inhumane weapon of mass destruction in relation to Cuba. The former leaders say they are perturbed at the deepening humanitarian crisis in Cuba and are impelled to make public their appeal to avert further human destruction. The strongly worded letter bears the signature of former Jamaican Prime Ministers Percival James, Patterson, and Bruce Golding. The other former leaders are Dr. Kenny Anthony of St. Lucia, Dr. Keith Rowley of Trinidad and Tobago, Tillman Thomas of Grenada, Edison James of Dominica, Frodel Stewart of Barbados, and former President of Guyana, Donald Ramatar. The leaders say the January 29th executive order by the United States against any nation providing oil to Cuba without the imposition of punitive discriminating tariffs constitutes economic warfare and inflicts unconscionable suffering upon the Cuban people. The universal principle of dialogue to resolve conflicts and disputes cannot be abandoned on the altar of mighty powerful waging political vendettas against smaller nations by economic warfare. The statement adds that the consequences of this horrific fuel blockade are catastrophic and constitute cruel punishment of the 11 million civilians by the strangulation of Cuba's vital requirements for energy, food, medication, education, and basic livelihood. Pointing out that 4 Caribbean countries established diplomatic relations with Cuba on December 8, 1972, they note that for over 5 decades, Cuba has stood in solidarity with the Caribbean through medical brigades, educational scholarships, sports, and disaster relief, freely given assistance in times of greatest need and devoid of any request by them for reciprocal support of any kind.